Right then, so let's just go through a brief summary of tropical storms. Now, I'm not going to cover everything. I will include some links to some more detailed videos in the description. So if you want to find out more about the formation or more about tropical storms, then go click those links and check those out. But I'm just going to go through the basics. So the first thing is where they originate. So the tropical storms are huge storms that originate in the tropics between 5 and 30 degrees north and south. Now, the names given to tropical storms are different depending on where they originate from. So we've got hurricanes, cyclones, and typhoons. So hurricanes occur off the Atlantic and Eastern Pacific Oceans. Again, either side of the US going towards the southeast of the USA. We've got cyclones that occur in the Indian and South Pacific Oceans. Again, those are traveling towards India, towards Southern Asia, but also traveling down towards Madagascar. And then we've got typhoons. They occur in the North Pacific Ocean. They're going towards the east of Asia, towards Japan, while also again heading for Australia. Now, the formation of tropical storms is very complicated. Again, I've included some really good links to videos, very long videos explaining this and having visual demonstrations of how they form. I just want to go over some of the basics, okay? So if you want to find out more, go check out these videos. If you're just looking for the basics, I'm going to go through them here quickly. We've got a couple of diagrams here, and these are the basic points you need to know. So to start with, we've got the sea temperature of above 27 degrees. Again, we need those warm oceans to provide the energy for our tropical storms. So that warm, moist air rises. Then we've got the Coriolis effect, which is the rotation of the Earth. And this causes air to spin upwards. This condenses to form clouds. And what we see is with rising air, that creates low pressure, which therefore we see increased surface winds. Now, this gets stronger with energy from warm water, and then the wind speed increases. It continues to travel across oceans from the prevailing winds, and then it will actually start to lose energy when it meets land because there's a lack of water and increased friction. Those are just the basics for tropical storm formation. If you want to find out more, go click those links in the description. Now again, study the diagrams in more detail, but the basics you need to know is what the eye of the storm is, the eye wall, have an understanding of the general width we're seeing. We could see it up to 480 kilometers wide, and the width of the eye is between 16 and 48 kilometers as well. Now, with knowing the formation of tropical storms, we also need to know how they're measured. So we've got the Saffir-Simpson scale. It's just a very clear rating depending on the different wind speeds you're going to experience. When studying for the AQA GCSE geography course, you need to have an example, a case study of a tropical storm for this course. So a lot of schools have studied Typhoon Haiyan. That's what we're going to briefly go through now. Again, I'm going to include a link to a really thorough news report. It's about 45 minutes long. That's going to be in the description. That's a really detailed look at what actually happened during Typhoon Haiyan. I'm just going to give you a brief summary and go through it quickly. So just another reminder of the effects and responses from one of my previous videos. So we've got the primary effects, secondary effects, and then the responses. Primary effects occur as a direct result of the strong winds, heavy rain, and storm surges. Now, this could impact on buildings and power lines. Secondary effects occur as a result of the primary effects. So what we see is a longer term impact. We've got stuff like loss of income or loss of homes. When we talk about responses, again, immediate responses are days and weeks after the event, while long-term responses are months and years. So some of the primary effects for Typhoon Haiyan, which was a Category 5 tropical storm from 2013. We've got 6,300 people were killed and 600,000 people were displaced. 40,000 homes were damaged or destroyed, and 90% of Tacloban was destroyed. That's including the airport as well. Now, when it relates to businesses, 30,000 fishing boats were destroyed, and this was down to extreme flooding in the area. Secondary effects saw 14 million people affected by this disaster in some way. 6 million had a loss of income, and we had lots of flooding which led to landslides or blocking roads as the storm continued. We've got power supplies out for a month after the event, disruption of ferries and airlines. We've got shortage of water, food and shelter, which also led to looting. Then we've got the outbreaks of disease because there was a lack of sanitation, clean water in the area following this disaster. And we've got the knock-on effect of the loss of jobs and education. As this was such a big disaster, again a Category 5 typhoon, lots of aid was contributed. So we've got water, food and shelter was contributed. The UK, France, Belgium and Israel are all contributed in some way. 12,000 evacuation centres were created and the Red Cross delivered some food aid. Now longer term, we had the UN and other countries donate financial aid, supplies and medical support. They started rebuilding the infrastructure, and we also had the Cash for Work programme, which saw local people get paid for helping the cleanup operation. We've got rice farming and fishing recovery efforts to get those businesses back on track. Oxfam supported replacing a lot of the fishing boats so people could start their businesses again. We've got the relocation to newly built homes away from the flood risk, and we've got the creation of typhoon shelters for future evacuations. Now, when it comes to protecting and reducing the effects of tropical storms around the world, there are the 3 Ps again. We looked at these for tectonic hazards. So when it comes to reducing the effects of tropical storms, we can monitor and start to predict the tropical storms. We've got the National Hurricane Center in Florida, which helps to warn and predict when these tropical storms are going to affect people. We've got lots of protection elements such as reinforcing homes, creating storm drains to help with the storm surge, building seawalls, creating houses on stilts, and again constructing shelters for evacuation. And also the last P is planning, so awareness of the risk, making sure the people in the local area know that they are risk and this could happen. And the National Hurricane Preparedness Week, which tries to get the message out about what people can do to prepare, have a plan for evacuation, and just get ready if this was going to happen again. So that is a quick summary of tropical storms, the case study of Typhoon Haiyan, and the 3 Ps relating to tropical storms. Again, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to get this video in your feed every week, and it'd be great if you could give this video a like.